we want to pay well. We want to pay very fairly. We want to pay well above market average. We want to pay a livable wage. And we really want to make sure that our employees are well taken care of, because we can't scale if we don't have the team.
Ain't it great? Season 8. We're back with the No Dishes podcast. Once again, brought to you by our friends at Visit Bloomington. Check them out at visitbloomington.com. It's a great resource, even if you're just a local looking for something to do. Also, all of our other advertisers on this episode, they help make this whole thing possible. So please show them some love. Anyways, play that theme song.
Hey, say, honey, let's go out to eat. Relieve our culinary duties. With all these restaurants to sweep us off our feet, they're bound to turn us into foodies. No dishes, no dishes, no dishes. We'll have a bottle of wine, relax and have a good time. No dishes, no dishes.
We're here with a Bonafide culinary superstar. Owner of Bonafide Bites, Sam Herren.
Hey, how's it going? I'm so glad to be here today.
Yeah, I'm glad you can make it. I was like trying to think of what my little play intro would be. And I was like, oh, Bonafide. I was like, that's an easy one. I can work with that.
Yeah. The name lends itself to a lot of things you can play off of.
Oh, yeah, I love it. Well, so how long has Bonafide been around?
So this is our third full year of business.
Okay.
So third full year of business, we sat down and we went on the legal Zoom and we typed in all the things in like July of 2022. And then Josh, my partner, and I, we both took the plunge in October of 2022, and we quit our jobs and we went all in.
Okay, man. Well,
Yeah.
and so you have 3 full years of hindsight.
Yes.
What, if there was anything looking back where you're like, okay, maybe I would have done this a little different, or what have those 3 years been like? I mean, because that's a huge jump to quit your jobs.
Yep.
Not just a job, 2 jobs.
2 jobs. Yep. 2 jobs, 2 people,
Going all in.
all in. We were like, oh, that's how we are, though. We were just like,
Okay.
feet first, run it, let's do it.
I love
First
it.
thought, best thought. That's usually kind of like what we go with.
That's great.
So I would say one of the things that I would go back in hindsight is we had kind of given ourselves like what we thought was going to be an easy entrance into the business, because what we really wanted to do was catering. But when we first launched, we had this thought of doing like drop-offs for like rental cabins in Brown County, right?
Okay.
And we're like, okay, because that felt safe. Like that felt like something we were like, well, we'll work into catering. We'll get to that. Like, but we need to give ourselves a nice little path forward that seems like really attainable.
Okay.
So we started doing that, started looking at it, started kind of running it, and very quickly people were like, we need a caterer. Who's a caterer? You're a new catering company? Come cater. Who are you? Where did you come from?
Yeah.
Where did you come from? So very quickly it became evident that what we really wanted to do, we were well positioned to enter the market.
That's great.
And to enter the catering market. So
I love it.
Yeah, and the cabin stuff was cool. I mean, from a business perspective, it's low numbers.
Right.
So it's really hard to like scale it and make it work if you're like dropping off for 2 or 3 people. I can't do better than, the cost of a McDonald's sandwich for what we do.
Mm-hmm.
So it was cool. Sometimes we still do some cabin stuff, but usually it's when people have larger groups.
Okay, now you're a full-blown Bonafide caterer.
We're catering. Yep. We're doing the
See how many
catering.
times I can sneak it in there. Well, I've seen you at a ton of different events that I've been at. The food's always impeccable.
Oh, thank you.
One of them was like Pat East's Farewell at the Mill.
Yep.
And man, I'm trying to think back on that menu.
God,
But
that was so fun, because big shout out to the Mill. Nick, if you're listening, thank you. I love the Mill. That one was one of the ones where they said, Nick said, menu's yours.
Oh, I love that.
Do what you want.
That's so sweet.
Do what you want. And I'm like, thank you. Because sometimes we put things on a menu and they're words on a page and people are like, that sounds weird, and I don't know what it is, so I'm not going to pick it.
Right. Yeah. No, it makes sense.
So, we've got some really adventurous things on our menu that we like to do, but sometimes people just don't pick them when they're picking out their menu.
Of course.
So when we get the chance to do something like that and just go all out on the fun stuff that we want to do, like it's so gratifying.
Well, just to have that creative outlet and just like, hey, no holds barred, just like go do your thing. And it's like a chance for you to like show up and show out.
Oh, for sure.
You're like, okay, watch me do me. Let me like show you what I'm capable of.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that was like a highlight event for us. I loved that event.
Yeah, it was so good. I remembered the macarons.
Oh, the macarons. Yeah, I have to shout out our pastry chef, Jensen. They are fantastic. They are absolutely amazing at what they do. So when we were in a slow period, like over the winter, after Christmas, after holiday time, we went into kind of a recipe development stage, and we really want to pull our team into that, because I want people to have ownership and not just be like, expressing the things that I want to make, but I want to make sure that they have the opportunity to pursue things too. And so when our pastry chef came to me and they were like, well, I could try some macarons. And I was like, are you down for that? Like, you
sure?
Are you for sure?
Yeah.
You're down for that? I was like, because I went to culinary school for baking and pastry arts, and I detest making macarons. So they were like, I mean, yeah, I'll give it a shot. And then out of nowhere, just, sends me a list of product they need to test everything. And then creates these pistachio creme macarons that are like, I mean, maybe the best thing I've ever eaten.
They were so good. So good. They knocked it out of the park.
I know. They were amazing. So now I'm like, okay, you can never leave us because I'm not making macarons.
Yeah, and now people expect this. Like,
I know.
Yeah, it's like, I love you for this, but now you've set the bar up here. Well, yeah, I mean, I just remember those being excellent. The entire menu was
thank you.
Flawless. And there's been, again, like I said, so many other events. What are the typical kind of catering events that you guys are serving?
Yeah, so we do, it's really wide ranging. We do a lot of like hors d'oeuvres and dessert receptions. I kind of call those the silver platter events.
Okay.
I am an absolute stickler for presentation. And to me, it's an art expression. I just cannot stand flat food on a table. It is just, I hate flat food on a table. See? So that's why we've got platforms, we've got all the silver, we've got the good stuff. And I love weird vegetables too. Like, I'm sorry, who doesn't want purple cauliflower?
No, I was going to ask. Yeah. Well, and just like the contrast of all the color, it just looks so pretty.
Yeah, well, it's art. That's, kind of me expressing my artistic side. So we do a lot of those events. A lot of those happen just for, different people in the community, different events. And then we do buffets as well. A lot of people are like, oh, I only see you at these little hors d'oeuvres events. I didn't know that you did full buffets, but we do a ton with IU, just various departments at IU. Mm-hmm. And we really are just kind of breaking into that, but it's so funny because once you get in with one department at IU,
right,
all of a sudden they're like, hey, I got your info from so-and-so. I've got a buffet that I need for this day. So we do a lot of those too.
Yeah, we noticed the same thing with chocolate mousse. Where like Jacob School got us early, and media school, and the next thing you know, Kelly's on board. Media school of education. Oh yeah, and it's a great problem to have.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Thankfully, I've just brought on an assistant who is helping me with emails.
Oh, there you go. I need one of those. That sounds great.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, we have some new event guys where I'm just like, one of them, I was like, I'm going to get you trained on booking the events.
Yes.
And then I'll be free of that.
Yes. I just went on a completely nerdy project after we slowed down after graduation, where I coded our entire menu to automate it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, to automate client quotes in Excel, and then I can also spit it out to all of like the per person quantities, and it spits out an order for me in like seconds. It was so fun.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I might have to hire you as a consultant to do that.
Consult me. I'll write you some code. We'll do it.
Okay, I love it. Well, that's like the hard part because, like, yes, a lot of events are straightforward, but there's some that are really nuanced, and even things like where you park the truck and the trailer and stuff like that, to where like that's why it's been hard for me to let go,
right?
Because like you can't really explain all those little situations. So it's almost like, hey, I need you to read all these emails over the last year,
Right.
you know, and just to get
Right.
a feel of what you're going to come across and how you handle it and
Right.
what the follow-up questions are.
Right.
What would you say
Right.
is like maybe the most unexpected part of catering that people might not realize?
Oh, the logistics.
Yeah,
Hands
okay.
down.
Yeah, yeah.
Hands down. People do not understand the logistics that go into like getting to the place, setting up a buffet or setting up an event. Because what we do is we try to take like a really whole view of catering. So we're thinking about the end stage and then we're backing it up from there, right? So there are certain things that we just do not have on our menu because they're not conducive to catering. They just don't hold well because you got to think the food is made. The food has to go in a box. It's going to drive on some bumpy roads. You're probably going to hit a pothole or 3 or 4 or 5.
Oh, yeah.
And then you've got to get to the event, unload it out again, and then set it up. So when you think about kind of the life cycle of the food from the start to when it's presented and when it's at the event, we're thinking the entire time about how it's going to be best presented at its end stage. So I make our lives really hard a lot of the times. I always joke with my team that, sorry guys, we do things the hard way. So a lot of times we are plattering things on site. So I am packing everything, we are setting it up, and then I'm plattering it on site because I don't want something to just get carelessly wrapped in plastic wrap and thrown in a truck and then unwrapped and look like total garbage by the time it gets somewhere. So same thing with buffet food. We're packing vegetable stock that's hot if we need to refresh an orzo because it's a little dried out. We're packing warm milk if we're doing mac and cheese. That way, if the mac and cheese has kind of settled and set up and got a little stiff, then we can kind of stir it. So that's the thing that I don't think people think about is how many details go into thinking about it. And it's funny, you were talking about passing off the logistics and go through this whole email for the year, but like I will take employees if we're doing an event and either they're setting up or I'm coming later, I will take our event staff to the venue to meet the site contact. I will walk through with them. This is where you park. This is where you unload. This is your person. This is where you're going to stage at. And this is the time you're leaving. So that way, when we get there, when they get there, everybody's totally comfortable.
That's great.
Yep.
That's fine. See, I would love to do that, but I feel like there's only so many events that like for it to still make fiscal sense.
Right.
That like, cause that's labor that
Oh,
you're
yeah.
taking that time to taking it out there.
Yep.
So the fact that you're doing that obviously shows like how important, you know, just the details are to you.
Yeah, they are. And clients so appreciate it. They're like, I can't believe that you brought your person here.
Well, I'm
to
sure
walk
they've never
through."
had anyone else do that.
I know.
I know we haven't done it. Well, I mean, and just like with those logistics, I mean, we've had, if I can't even count how many times we've been asked, like, oh, come do milkshakes. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, when then we had to
Right.
bring milk and we had to bring blenders, and you can't do a saucer machine really off site. So then, and blending a homemade milkshake takes a long time to get it to be the right consistency. And, but yeah, it's tough to, so sometimes I'll just be like, can you call me?
Yeah,
Because, you know, you
exactly.
can only do so much through email. It's like at a certain point, like, just call me and let's talk it out.
Right. And that's why a lot of what we do, I don't post our menus online because not every menu is right for every event. And so that way I can say, how many people do you have? Is this a drop off? Is this on site? Is it a buffet? Tell me that up front. And then I'm going to steer you towards the things that are going to be the most successful for your event.
So if you had to put together like your dream lineup of like what you guys offer, let's say we're doing a retirement party for 100 people.
Okay.
What's that lineup look like?
I definitely prefer the hors d'oeuvres and dessert receptions.
Okay, yeah.
You know, I totally love them. You can make a meal out of it too. There's definitely a lot you can do. So to me, that's an hors d'oeuvres and dessert reception. And I like to think of it in terms of, you know, we like to do 3 little bite-sized kind of things. And then I want 1 or 2 kind of larger, more substantial things. And then I want 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or however many desserts we want to make.
Yeah.
So that's my dream lineup right there.
Okay.
So in terms of specifics about the menu, it's like, oh man,
I know it's such a loaded question.
I know.
But,
Well, yes, there are things that I like to make.
and that's what I want to focus on. What are the ones that you like to make?
The ones that I like, because I also love the ones that are just really well received, because that's fun too,
course.
even though they might not be my favorite. So my team gives me so much crap because I am notorious for creating the most component heavy dish or appetizer that ever existed, and you have to do this and you have to do this and you have to do this, and it's super finicky, and they're like, oh my gosh, Sam, not another one. Not another one.
Like, what are you trying to do to us?
I know. I'm sorry, guys, but it's going to be really cool, I promise. So I think my favorite right now is one of our new menu items that is that filet mignon steak bite. So that is way fun.
And you had those at the Pat East thing, and they were amazing.
We did. And they are good. So we'll take like a whole, they call it a pismo is what it is, the whole cut. It's a peeled side muscle on, and it has the Chateaubriand on it too, which is like the little side cut. So we'll take that bad boy and we'll cut it into decent size fillets, and then absolutely sear it on both sides, and then let it cool down. Let it rest. And then what is on top of it is we will take caramelized onions and cook those way down the right way, not the cheater way. We're going to really slowly caramelize our onions. And then once those are done, we take that in a food processor and blend it with blue cheese and horseradish. Yeah. And then that goes on top of the steak. And then my favorite is we get to pull out the torch.
Let's go!
Yeah, so we're chefs. We like to play with fire. So we pull out the torch and then we torch that blue cheese topping on top of the little bites.
My goodness.
So
All of those components just sound so delicious.
they were super good. So that'd probably be in there. I am also really digging. We are doing a prosciutto wrapped pear with manchego cheese and honey and truffle. Oh my God. Yeah, that one's fun. People are like, I don't know what this is, but it tastes good.
That sounds so good.
That one's good. And then we've been running a wild mushroom boucher tartlet too. That's been really good. So just get all the wild mushrooms you can. And you basically make a duxelle, which is mushrooms and shallots and tarragon and white wine. And then you cook that down, and then we blend it with a bunch of different cheeses. And that's our nice little filling that goes in there.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm not a trained chef. I've never pretended to be. What's the cheater way to do the caramelized onions?
Oh, well, the cheater way is that you're going to really crank the heat on it, right?
Just to do it quickly.
Just get it quick, dump a bunch of liquid in there. And yeah, you'll get your onions soft, but you're not taking the time to get that, they call it the Maillard effect, the Maillard reaction, where you get the browning. So yeah, you'll get them soft and soggy, but you're not building that flavor from the base layer up. So that's how we do it.
That makes sense. Do you guys do much like on the beverage front?
We'll do beverage stations. Honestly, we can do beer and wine, but big shout out Upland Brewery. They're our homies. So when we have an event that wants beer and wine or beer, wine, and liquor, a lot of times I'll send our clients to them. And say, first I'll check with Jessica. Thanks, Jessica. I'll say, hey, you guys free this date? I'm going to hook you up with a client. She's like, yep, we're good. Send them my way. I'm like, cool, great. Because honestly, they can offer better pricing, more variety.
Right.
More options.
Well, and she's on the taste committee with me. And I've known Jessie forever, from the old Yogis, from way back when. And yeah, what you just said, what we've done with the taste committee is find people that are good at something and let them do that.
Right, exactly.
And that's what you're doing. You're like, I'm good with the food.
Yeah.
You're good with the booze. Just do that.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. It makes so much sense.
Yeah. It's been great. And so it's so fun too, because we'll just there's been weeks where we just run around at every event. I'm like, hey,
what up?
Hey. We're like, hey, I'll see you tomorrow at this event. Hey, I'll see you tomorrow. So it's been a lot of fun.
I just realized I need to reach out to you about doing taste, because I was like, as we're sitting here talking about, I was like, you guys need to be doing this.
Probably
on Kirkwood. Yeah. Anyway, we'll do that off camera. So tell me a little bit about your background. Where were you kind of raised, and then how'd you take me from there to starting Bonafide?
Sure. Yeah. So I grew up kind of in between Trafalgar and Franklin,
Indiana.
So Johnson County, out with the numbered grid roads where it's north, south, east, west, and that's it. Pretty hard to get lost in the cornfields because you're just find a direction road and it'll get you there. So that's where I grew up. And then all through, I really grew up in like a food family, and not even in like a chefy way. But my mom is an excellent cook. She did a lot of catering out of our house when I was growing up. So I have had a paring knife in my hands since I was probably 4 or 5 years old. And so my job with my mom was always to make it pretty. So the vegetable trays, when I say I have been making vegetable trays my whole life, I have been making vegetable trays my whole life. She would hand me the radish, and this is so 90s, make the radish rows, so I'm making the little radish rows. And we also grew most of our own food. I had no idea that wasn't a normal thing to do.
I feel like everyone does this.
I know. My mom tells this story about how I was probably 9 or 10 years old, and we're at the grocery store, and I go up to her with a jar of jelly, and I'm like, "Mom, did you know you could buy jelly at the grocery store?" I had no idea that everybody didn't just
blew your mind.
Yeah, I was like, you could just buy jelly. That's crazy. So that was the kind of background that I grew up with. And then all throughout high school, I worked at Franklin College in the cafeteria. And that was honestly, it was great because all of my friends worked there, and we had a whole crew. I also played, the only two things I've ever done in my life really are cook and play music. So we all worked together at the cafeteria. We're all in high school. Between 10 people, we're all in 17 different bands with different combinations. So we're figuring out who's off and who's going to go, play this show and who's going to cover this shift. And it was a lot of fun. So after high school, I actually dipped out, moved to Los Angeles. Just decided to up and move.
Yep. See ya.
Yep. As soon as I could, I was like, all right, I'm out of here. I'm going to LA.
So from the cornfields.
Yeah, from the cornfields to LA.
What was that adjustment like? Are you wanting to move better, feel better, and live better? Look no further than Move Bloomington, where their small group personal training programs are designed to improve strength, balance, and flexibility. With a welcoming environment, their expertly guided workouts can help you feel supported in the life and activities you love in and out of the gym. Whether you're new to exercise, a lifelong athlete, or anywhere in between, their dedication to personalized programming will deliver sessions that meet you where you are. Get started today using the code NODISHES to get 50% off their 3-session Kickstart program.
It was a big adjustment. I was actually studying broadcast journalism at the time because I was super into that in high school and did a ton of that with my school's TV show. So I dipped out to do that, and I was like, I actually don't want to be in the news business. That makes people very sad. I think I want to make people happy. So I think I'm going to go home and going to go to culinary school. So I went home, went to culinary school, went back to my old job while I was going to culinary school. And then in kind of a weird twist, ended up in Brown County running a summer camp and running their food service. So that's how I landed in Brown County. And that was great. But it was time for me to move on from summer camp.
How long were you at the summer camp for?
Between being a summer staffer and a full-time year-round staffer, I was there for 11 years.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay. Yeah, I'm glad I asked. Yeah. Otherwise, it would have seemed like a short blip. But that's how long I've been at the Chocolate Moose.
Oh, nice.
And that's a very long time.
Yep. So there for 11 years. I was a camper for 12 years before that, too. So got to go run the kitchen and do
What's the name
thing.
of the camp? Are you?
Yeah, it's called Lutheran Hills. It's in Brown County. Yep.
Awesome.
So, yeah, my dad built a lot of the buildings there too. So
that's super cool.
Yep. So
and it's still running and doing everything.
Yep,
Okay. Cool.
Yep. So yeah. So after that, it was just time to move on from camp. So that's actually when I met Josh, my business partner and our executive chef, who couldn't be here today. Sometimes life, when you have a small business, happens.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it happens all the time because we're interviewing restaurant people. And so it's like, yeah, we'll both be there. And then just like where it's like, No problem.
Nope.
We're used to it. We know you're busy. There's a million things going on.
Divide and conquer. That's our life. So I met Josh in about 2015 when he hired me to work for a contract food service company that did fraternities and sororities.
Okay.
So he hired me for $12 an hour.
Something like College Fresh, one of those.
Yeah, one of those contract
Okay,
companies.
yeah.
Yep. So we got to know each other there. We both kind of had separate career paths, but within the same company. And he was there for about 10 years. So we both ended up leaving that job after we kind of realized that we had the same story. So he grew up in the southwestern part of the county, played music, tried to do the rock star thing, moved to LA.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah. And the whole time we worked together, we didn't figure this out until the end of our time working together.
Interesting.
Because we
yeah.
were just like, we're professional. I'm not, I'm
Yeah, we're not diving too much into it. Yeah. You're there to do a job, get it knocked out.
Yeah. So we're talking. I'm like, have we lived the same life?
Yeah, it sounds like
This is insane. This is crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts.
So, towards the end of our time there, and as we're kind of figuring out that our lives have taken like this similar path, even with his parents also growing their food, canning all of their own food, having a giant garden, growing up in a white farmhouse, it's like, what is going on here? So, towards our end of our time working there, we started kind of hatching an idea. We're like, we could maybe do something. Like, maybe we could do something. Like, I don't know. I actually think this could work. So we both kind of moved on to other jobs for a couple years or so. And I was working like Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, which I thought I wanted after being in the restaurant industry my whole life. And I was so painfully bored. It was horrific.
Yeah.
Just like, I was like, I am not built for the 9 to 5 office life.
Well, yeah, just so different. Restaurants is just go, constant problem solving and just like putting fires out. And then just to go to that, I'd imagine that's how I feel like I would be. And
It was terrible.
I feel like it'd be fairly monotonous.
Oh gosh, it was so bad. I was like, I have to do something. So, so Josh and I, after we kind of had gone off to our separate things and done some work, we're like, all right, let's try this cabin thing. We're sitting around one day and we're like, well, we got to have a name for it. And we both love, and it's so funny. One of the overarching themes in my life is, oh, brother, where art thou? Because I spent, 15 years playing bluegrass music professionally. And that renaissance came because of the Oh Brother Where Art Thou soundtrack, right?
The old Soggy Bottom Boys.
Exactly. And so that kind of spurred off that whole bluegrass Americana thing and got that popular. So, so we're sitting around, and one of my favorite quotes from that movie is, he's Bonafide.
Nice.
So he's like, well, what if it's Bonafide Bites? I'm like, stop, buy the domain right now. Let me
Done.
check.
Yeah.
I mean, first thought, best thought. That's what we're rolling with. So
And you have it, bonafidebites.com.
we got it. I bought it that day.
I can't believe that was available. That's so that was a sign.
Yeah, I also own 3 other domains that I haven't done anything with, but we'll see.
We're not going to say what those are. Yeah. Like, that's my retirement plan.
Who knows? But they were too good to not be snagged up. So.
Yeah, that's so interesting to just have the parallels between both of your lives.
No, it's crazy. It's crazy.
So how do you guys you mentioned divide and conquer. What's that kind of look like? Do you have kind of standard stuff that you take care of and then he has his responsibilities, or is it mix and match?
It's mix and match. It's pretty fluid and it depends on the week, but really more than the two of us, I just have to shout out our team because we have the most amazing, dedicated team who I just like every day we turn to each other and we're like, how do we get so these people? Our hearts are just like so full all the time. We're like, oh, our team. And I was a little bit sick a couple weeks ago, and my team's like, don't lift that, don't do this. And I'm like, you guys,
stop.
They're so great, and we have just such a good team. I can't say enough about them.
Now, what's like the size of your team?
Yeah. So in addition to catering, we've got a few contract services that we run.
Okay.
Just, some school year stuff, some summer stuff. So between the contract operations and catering, I think we've got 14 full-time employees.
That's great.
And then we've got 6 or 7 part-time event staff who will come in when we have events and just work the event and be an extra set of hands.
I mean, for being a little over 3 years old, I think that's fantastic.
It's crazy.
Now, what's your growth been like, over year 1, year 2, year 3?
Yeah, so Q1, I did the math last year to this year, and I haven't done from year 1 because, the comparison isn't even really... it doesn't even really matter.
Right, you're just getting established.
You're just figuring it out,
yeah.
So year 2 to year 3, Q1, I think was between 20 and 25% year over year in catering sales. So Q1, and then Q2, we're not quite out of it yet. Let's see, not quite out of Q2, but I think it's going to be closer to 30%. But one thing that is a core tenet between Josh and I is that we want to foster really sustainable growth, and we want to build the team and then have the growth. Build the team and grow the team and then have the growth, because I think a lot of people in the industry, or any industry really, have been in the position where it's growth at all costs, but then quality really suffers. Your employee morale suffers because you're taking on so much that you don't have the team for. And so morale suffers, turnover gets higher, you're churning, you're burning, and then quality suffers and reputation suffers. So we have been so cognizant to try to grow at a steady and sustainable rate.
That's smart. Yeah. You lose that quality control. You get big too quick. And it sounds like even more so than some caterers, like your calling card, what you're selling yourself on is that attention to detail, that presentation.
Correct.
That stuff that very quickly could go by the wayside if you're not handling it, or if you don't have people properly trained.
Exactly. And don't have the right people in place, properly trained. If I look back, I'd say we've turned down as much revenue as we've accepted.
That's incredible.
So there turns out there's quite the market around here for catering.
Between IU and just all the other stuff going on. Like it's we've grown incredibly. Like we had, when I started at the Chocolate Mousse 11 years ago, almost did 0 catering and events.
Right.
And now it's a very big part of what we do.
Right.
So it's like, and we didn't realize it until like 6 years ago. Someone's like, hey, my fiance and I, we met at IU. Our first day was at Chocolate Mousse.
Oh,
will you cater our wedding? We're like, we never have, but like, we'll figure it out. And then we're sitting there, we're like, why don't we do more of these? Like, yeah.
Right.
So, and then we started just seeing the demand was there and executing it. And I love events at catering. It's so much fun. When again, you're just like, a lot of times you're at cool shit.
I know.
You're just like, oh, I'm getting paid to be here. Other people are paying to be here.
I know.
And like, yeah, you're working, but like you're having fun. You're still feeding off that energy.
Way fun. We also do the backstage catering at the Brown County Music Center, which is a 2,000 seat Live Nation venue.
That's super cool.
So I'm like, I'm just hanging out backstage with Jackson Brown. I don't know.
Right? Yeah.
Here we go.
Whoever's in there, you're like, hey, what's the set list tonight?
Well, you gotta play it a little bit cool.
I know. You can't be asking for selfies.
It was. I had a hard time a couple weeks ago with Jason Isbell, who was just like my favorite.
Well, I'd imagine playing bluegrass for 15 years.
I know. So I was like, keep your cool, Sam. Be cool. we totally, because the shows have budgets for catering, and I was like, Josh, I'm sorry, I'm blowing this budget, and we're losing money. Okay.
Don't care. Oh, we're doing it. Yeah.
Yep. I was like, sorry. We served them filet mignon. They were in the crews. It's so funny because you're mostly feeding the crews. It's not just the artists. And these crews go around, and you could tell that they have just gotten the worst. Like I call it Cisco dump and fry. Mm-hmm. Okay. No offense to Cisco, but
I know what you're. Yeah, of course.
We're talking pre-made stuff. Comes in a bag. You dump it out. You fry it or you heat it up, and you send it, and there it goes. So these crews, and they're hard working. That is not an easy job. It's not an easy job to be working on a crew on a tour. So
yeah, and you're tearing down late, and then you're traveling all night, and then my friend was on tour with Mellencamp doing his thing, and I just happened to be in Chicago when she was there, and she was showing me like where they sleep on the bus, and like I'm like, man, this, you think it's like glitz and glamour, like, oh, I'm on tour with Mellencamp, but then you look at like the living situation, and these are like the band members too, not to mention the crew,
exactly,
and like they're still roughing it.
Yep. So these crews, when they get like actual food, they are just like the amount of times that people are like, this is the best food we've had all tour.
Yeah,
and like,
thank you so much.
Yeah, it's so nice to take care of them too, and it's so cool because Josh and I both were musicians too. So we both, okay, we did the musician thing. Okay, we still play, as much as we can. But so to be able to, even though we're not playing, we don't have a band. We'll sit around and play sometimes, the two of us, but we can still be like connected to music in that way and like supporting these artists and these tours. And it's just super cool.
Yeah, it is very full circle. Yep. We're like, this is what I wanted to do, and maybe that didn't exactly work out, but I'm still doing something I love. And yeah, you're still just involved in the scene and all that.
Yep, and we still get to be creative. So, we're still just both very creative people who also have a mind for numbers and for running a business. So
yeah, well, that's perfect because a lot of people, you see it all the time in the restaurant industry. They're really good chefs or this or that, and they're like, I'm going to open a place, but then they have no idea when it comes to running a business or marketing, and it's sad because it's just like, man, because I love your food and I love you as a person, but like you really need help in this area. But then by the time they realize it and it's time to hire someone in to help with that, they've already blown through the money they had,
and everything is off the rails. And I mean, you were asking about the division of power. Let me make it perfectly clear. Josh is in charge. I get to go be creative, and he's like, run with your ideas. He's the people. Our employees ask me like, oh, where are we at in the pay period? I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea. That's a Josh question.
That's my favorite thing to do is
Check to you this summer. It's the Smithville Communications Summer Concert Series in Ellettsville. Brought to you by B97 and Hoosier Country 105.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Enjoy live music every Saturday from May 24th through July 26th. That's 10 weeks of music every Saturday evening from 6:30 to 8. Located at the Marcy J. Lewis Park. And did I mention it's free? Dance the night away with the Smithville Communications Summer Concert Series in Ellettsville.
better business, better community. For over a century, the Greater Bloomington Chamber of Commerce has been a cornerstone of business growth and community development. They are dedicated to helping local businesses thrive. Their business is all about your business. Join the Chamber today. Call 812-336-6381 or visit chamberbloomington.org to learn more. The other director at the Moose with me is Aaron Biggs. And anytime it's, we have our pretty clear, this is what I do, this is what he does. And all the time people ask me something, I'm like, no, that's not me.
That's a him question.
I'm sorry. Wish I could help.
Yep.
But I don't know the answer.
Yep. That's the same. So it's great though. And then Josh is great too about really throwing in culinary ideas that are going to be well received too around here. And so he really focuses a lot on kind of the buffet operations and the buffet menus, while I get to just be my weird little self making tiny little complicated appetizers. So.
Yeah. Little bites with 12 components.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. You're again, the staff loves it.
Yeah, they love it so much. But no, we really do have a great the way we divide things and the way our personalities complement each other, because he is endlessly patient and calm, and I don't know if I can quite say the same for myself.
Well, that's good. You need the yin and yang.
Exactly,
that's great. Yeah,
exactly.
You need to have not that he doesn't have passion, but you're the passionate, fiery one, and he's the calm, even keel, I guess.
Oh, even keeled. The most even keeled. The most even keeled.
What would you say has been the largest event you've done so far?
Yeah, so we've done quite a few 200-person events already.
Wow.
So a lot of those are buffets, and honestly, a 200-person buffet, not that bad. That's not that crazy. We recently did a 200-person semi-pre-plated, preset, semi-buffet event at Ivy Tech. And that was a lot. That is a lot to preset for 200 people, because we were presetting on site. And for those of you who aren't in the catering industry, presetting means that all of the tables that were laid out for 200 people, we had to go around 200 seats and put the salad out, put the dessert out, put the silverware out, put the linen out, lay everything out already. And that's just a lot of stuff.
Well, and it could be easy for someone that had a different personality than you do, where you're it needs to look perfect.
Correct.
So I'm sure you're going around not only for 200, but oh God, this is off.
Correct. Yeah. There was a whole thing with the strawberries, and again, where Josh comes in, he's like, hey, why don't we just mix them in rather than putting them separately on top? It was like a strawberry spinach salad. And I'm like, you're totally right.
I guess.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah. Like, I really needed that.
Yeah. Like, pull me back for being too nitpicky.
I love, so when Sam walked in, Garrett, she's like, do you remember me? And Garrett filmed a music video for you.
Correct.
15 years ago?
I think it was like 2013.
Garrett, you can hop in here too.
Oh my
if
gosh,
you like.
don't even pull it up.
Oh yes, let's do it. So you were in this. You talked to.
This is so funny.
You brought it up, so I had to touch on it. So, oh my God, is it on? Yes,
there
it's
we
actually.
go.
Yes!
That's us. Yep.
So I've never seen this. This is fantastic.
That's hilarious. Yep, that's the Brown County Inn. Garrett produced that for us and directed it too. Did the whole shebang. So I'll never forget that day either, because it was the day that Lou Reed died. I was really bummed.
So I didn't catch you. What do you play?
I play the mandolin.
So
mostly.
Okay, that's the up close right there view.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's the mandolin. I also play the.
Well, I know what it was the big outshot, whatever, Garrett.
So here's a mandolin. It's actually an instrument that has 8 strings. No.
Well, my buddies used to have a band called Two Greasy Hogs and a mandolin.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I play the upright bass too. I play the guitar. I don't know, mess around on the piano. In high school, I played punk and hardcore.
Nice, there you go. The natural progression from punk and hardcore to bluegrass.
Actually, that's a total thing. The punk to bluegrass pipeline is real, because if you think about the music and the style, and even like the harmonies are like, oftentimes it's a fifth is like the main element of the harmony. Like, there's so many people that are in the punk to bluegrass pipeline.
What was the place? It was like a little out in Brown County, and they had a really nice patio. My buddy's bluegrass band played there, and they had like a really good tenderloin. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Do you remember what road it was?
Bushman's?
Oh, Bushman's.
Is that it?
Lord.
Yeah, what?
That was the old country club.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was they Bushman's legendary. A lot of my friends worked there when they were in high school, and crazy stories. But
please, we have time.
Those are their stories to tell.
Yeah, exactly. You're
not mine. Not mine. But if they're listening to this, they're going to be calling me and be like, Sam, you better not.
Don't you say, I told you that in confidence.
That was a little before my time. They had already like shut down the country club and weren't there by the time I was kind of around. It was like just dying out. But our spot was definitely Muddy Boots. Because I'm crazy and I've always worked like 4 jobs. I was at the camp and playing music, and I also worked at Muddy Boots Cafe, which was a big music spot. And then that was also owned by the same person that owned the Pine Room Tavern, that was out kind of over by the IGA. So they eventually combined. I worked both places, bartended, played music. My favorite hustle was so when I was bartending or serving at the Pine Room, if my friends were playing, I would stash my mandolin on stage, and then I'd have a song that I knew I was going to come up and do. And so during heavy tourist times, I'd get up and go play mandolin and sing and play with my friends. And all the tourists were like, the singing waitress. Yeah. And so my tips were just that was my hustle for good tips.
Did you make it seem like it wasn't playing? Like, I guess I could come out.
Yeah, totally.
Like
totally
me?
played
Me?
it.
Like you act like you've never played it before.
Totally played into the bit. The tourists loved it. I would make bank on those days.
Well, if I recall correctly, the Pine Room, didn't they do like a bluegrass jam night?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I went to. I don't play, but my buddies did, so I think.
Yeah.
I went and watched
Chris Dollar used to run it.
Yeah. So Chris Dollar, Justin Huey, and those boys.
I know all those boys.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Chris and I worked at the same laser tag place in high school.
Oh, hilarious.
So he worked there when I was a regular, and then he went to IU, and I got hired. And when I first started to come to Bloomington, it was to hang out with him and the Laser Flash crew.
Gotcha.
And then Chris is somewhat to thank for me moving to Bloomington and still being here.
It's so funny. Oh, that's so funny. The music world and the food world are just like
very intertwined.
So interconnected.
Yeah, well, just look what Travers is doing with Max's place now. And it's just
we used to play at Max's place all the time when it was on the square.
That's so sweet. Have you been to the new one now?
Not yet.
It's so good. Him and Abel are rocking it out.
Nice.
They came on here. The pizza's amazing, and then the salads too,
nice.
which I've not. I had a side salad, which was great, but I haven't had like an entree salad yet.
Salad.
But everything I've heard is like it's top tier.
I miss it. Unfortunately, I can't do the pizza. I have celiac disease.
Oh,
which
no.
is a big bummer. But
That's tough.
No.
Yeah.
It's is what it is.
You're like, yeah, well, and I'm sure it helps that over the last 5 years, there seems to be a million more gluten-free options than what there used to be.
For sure.
And they're more comparable than they used to be.
And there's just a lot of stuff that's just gluten-free. I mean, like a lot of our menu is just gluten-free. And it's like, oh, wait.
You don't even think about it,
Yeah,
or you
exactly.
don't even necessarily go out of your way.
Yeah, exactly. So that's another thing that we're really big on is making sure that we take dietary restrictions and food allergies very seriously. So when we have somebody reach out and they're like, we have a guest, blah, 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 we're like, we got it. Here's our experience. We're going to package it separately. It's going to be made separately. Please ensure that your attendee knows like that they can be comfortable eating this food, because as somebody with a really severe food restriction, I know what it's like to be at an event or at a conference and you get this like crappy box lunch and you're like, cool.
Or they just don't seem like they're taking it seriously.
Exactly.
Like, I'm sure that just helps so much the level of confidence people have with those allergies, knowing that like you have it yourself.
It seems to help.
I would imagine it would. Absolutely.
And we're totally crazy about tagging everything to my lovely, wonderful assistant employees beautifully hand writes with a calligraphy pen all of our signs.
Nice.
So
Do you need some water?
I think I'm good still.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I thought it looked like it might be empty. Have you worked or you partnered with or just gone to Brightside Cafe?
I haven't been there yet.
Oh my God,
I know.
dude, it's so good.
I think I was kind of waiting for Towny Summer, honestly.
No, you're good. Hey, the time is now.
I know.
No, Abe and John are fantastic. They've been on here. The food's incredible. And just like, it would be cool for your, like maybe you guys to, I'm sure you like make everything you serve, but could be like, yeah, we're featuring this gluten-free thing from Brightside.
Oh yeah, especially to have a dedicated gluten-free kitchen.
Yes.
So dedicated is a big thing. We can take as many steps as we can, but if it's not a fully dedicated kitchen, some people need that level of care put into. Like I pretty much need a dedicated gluten-free kitchen.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, the Elm knocks it out of the park.
Okay,
every time
great.
we've been there. They have been so great with my food allergy. They have been awesome. We were just there last Thursday with for a business meeting.
There you go. Yeah, I need to get back in there. It's been actually much longer, probably the longest spell I've gone without going since they opened.
Oh,
I was
funny.
going very, not like super consistent. I do go to the coffee shop a ton. Maybe not a
nice.
ton, but way more than actually going into the restaurant. But I need to get back in there and just have a nice bougie dinner.
Oh yeah, we had a bougie dinner. It was great.
Well, and you can just even look in there. You can see that Dan's running a ship where it's like everything is pristine, super clean. And so if you have an allergy, you can look back and see that and be like, I feel like I'm in good hands.
Yep.
And you are.
Yep, in good hands. I had a wonderful rack of lamb. It was delicious.
So what, one more thing on the whip stitch salad.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah. How did you come up with the name?
So that I can't take credit for that. That was Allie and Kat. They were just trying to come up with, I think they had a thesaurus and they were just trying to come up with words, as legend has it, that just sounded really funny together.
Well, then
it worked.
Yeah. And how long did you guys play together?
Oh my gosh. So myself, Allie and I met at summer camp that I worked at forever. She also worked at summer camp. We were the counselors with the guitars.
I'm sure the kids love that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a ton of fun. So we formed, I think, in 2009. Really got ramped up. Katie joined the band, and I think 2010 or 2011, she's on the fiddle. And then really from probably 2011 to 2016, we were at it hard, making albums. We would go on 2 or 3 week run tours. We had a run that we would do with our friends the Tillers. We would go to like Lexington and then Johnson City, Tennessee, and then Asheville, North Carolina, and then we'd split off and usually go to this little town called Cashers, North Carolina, which was fun, and then down to Atlanta, and then back up through the Chattahoochee, back home, and we did a really fun run in Colorado one time. That was great. So we were definitely kind of breaking into the whole, the regional scene, trying to go there. But there comes a point with music where you're either all in it or it's time to, it's time to jump. So for me, it was like, okay, I'm not done playing music ever. It's not like this is like cut off, but like I don't think I want this to be my job. I don't really like being on tour.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, it's a grind, like we were talking about. Yeah,
I don't like
so
it.
if you think food service is tough,
Yeah, try being on tour.
try being on the road as a musician.
Yeah, no kidding. It was fun though. I mean, I was in my 20s and it was a thing
That's
to
the
do.
best time to do it. Yeah, 100%.
I
I'm sure you met a ton of amazing people, have amazing memories.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, a lot of crossover with food. I mean, a ton of crossover.
Yeah, you're playing in these restaurants, you're playing in these bars, the industry, it all just goes hand in hand.
Yep, it sure does. And there's so many industry people who play too, so.
Yeah. So are you guys based out of Bloomington or is it Brown County?
Yeah. So we operate kind of in an interesting way, and we'll see. So right now we have contract operations in Brown County and contract operations in Bloomington, and both of them have kind of off seasons where their kitchens are not being used. So what we do is we build into those contracts that we can use those kitchens for catering purposes.
Awesome.
Yeah, during the off season or, off hours or whatever. So really it just depends on where the event is, where we're going to base out of. I would say most of the time we're based out of Brown County, but we're finding that as more and more of our business is in Bloomington, it's like, man, this is a haul. This is a haul.
Uh-huh.
So yeah. So we've got some feelers out to maybe figure out a more permanent situation. So
Still though, that seems for again smart growth.
Right,
like that
exactly.
seems like such a perfect situation to have those contracts, to have those spaces, and to utilize that for your catering.
Exactly. And that has allowed us to really make our biggest investment in the team and in employees. We want to pay well. We want to pay very fairly. We want to pay well above market average. We want to pay a livable wage. And we really want to make sure that our employees are well taken care of because we can't scale if we don't have the team. Catering isn't a widget that you can make and then just, turn up the factory knob a little bit. It's people. We have to have people. And I want dedicated event staff that isn't, yes, we do have some part-time event staff, but they're usually kind of supported by like an event captain who is somebody who is fully working for us, fully knows what's happening with events. And then I love our part-timers because they just have so much fun. They come in, they, get to do these events and, we always give them leftovers too. So they're like, this is the best.
You can't beat that.
Right. But that really, that has been our main focus in investment is in the team. Because again, we can't scale and we can't have that growth if we don't have the team.
Yeah,
so
you
it's
guys.
as simple as that.
It sounds like you've just gone about everything very intentionally, very smart. Like
we try.
No, I'm just saying, for the outside looking in, just like working through the steps,
right.
And just not having that massive overhead of a kitchen, and allows you to invest in that, and maybe even keep your cost lower than what they might be for the standard of the quality of what you're serving.
Correct. Yeah. We price things differently too. Another thing that I'm just like, in the way that we make things hard is that we don't do service fees. We don't do mandatory gratuity. We don't do like any additional fees or like delivery fees or anything like that. Everything is in the per person cost, but that means that the per person cost is variable depending on the size of the event. Right. So smaller group is going to be a higher per head cost. Mm-hmm. Larger group is going to be a lower per head cost. So sometimes people get a little bit of sticker shock. They're like, "What?" And then they say, "No, hold up here." Like
no additional,
yeah. There's not going to be a service fee on this. There's not going to be, yes, we've got some minimums in place just because it doesn't make sense, to get the whole machine going. And a lot of times if we've got other stuff going on, I'll let a minimum slide too if I've already got the team in place. But they get a little bit of sticker shock. So like, "Oh man," I'm like, "Nope. That's it."
Yeah, nothing else.
That's you're out the door. Like we're done. Like that's totally it.
Yeah, and that's super unique. I mean, we don't do service charges or mandatory gratuity at the Chocolate Moose. I've been tempted on the gratuity front, but we haven't done it.
Right.
But for a full-blown caterer to not do that, I don't think I've heard of that.
Yep. It's weird.
So to have that all
weird.
in, what you see is what you get pricing is incredibly unique as far as I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my assistant that started helping me with quotes and emails, it's like, I made her these really complicated workflows, and then like all on the back end, it's like if this, then this, then this, then this, and she's like, okay, I got it. I'm like, it's really like you just got to follow the steps. Just
follow the
promise me.
chart. Yeah.
Promise me. Just like I promise. And then it's like, okay, no, this is not that hard. I figured it out. You just got to go to the head count, go to the range, blah blah blah, send them that. And so yeah, that's another reason I don't have menus on the website.
Yeah.
And I want the flexibility to change our menu as I want to.
And that's one less thing on. You have a million things to do. One less. I know just even changing our Dole Whip flavor. Okay, we've got to message this person who changes the graphic design, who then uploads it to the TV. Just all the steps that go with like rotating things.
That sounds terrible.
And yeah. I mean, it just adds onto the list of stuff you already have to do.
Yeah.
But that all makes sense because it's a bulk discount. You're scaling it. So
Right.
we do the same thing. If you're going to get 1,000 cups of ice cream, it's going to cost less per cup than if you do 75.
Right.
And that's just how economics work.
Yep. Economy is a scale. That's how we go. That's how we go. Yeah. And so I kind of mentioned this earlier, and this is super nerdy, but I'm building in a lot of automations too, which is really helpful. So that's been really great. I've got to let my inner nerd shine, and just like, Josh will find me at like 10 p.m. at night with an Excel spreadsheet, and I'm just like, oh, I can, and then this automation, and then what if I could run this macro, and then this macro can run this, and then I just automated the quote process. I think I did it.
Yeah, the more you're talking, the more I'm like, I need you to help me because I'm doing none of this. And
it's fun. It's fun.
The No Dishes podcast is brought to you by VisitBloomington.com. VisitBloomington.com is the best resource for restaurant and culinary information, special events, fun activities, places to stay, and more in our area. We share a similar mission here on the No Dishes podcast of highlighting local businesses and the people who make our community unique. We can't thank them enough for hopping on board. Check them out at visitbloomington.com to easily plan your next meal, visit, or night out on the town. The Bloomington Town Planner is a community calendar owned and published by local residents John and Sharon Martin. Mailed out to Bloomington homes in December of each year, it features school schedules and community events. And don't forget the coupons at the bottom of the calendar. They'll save you money and help you decide on the next restaurant or retailer to check out here in the Bloomington area. Town Planner also has an online calendar which can be found at townplanner.com. Make sure to sign up for their weekly e-newsletter so you can stay on top of all the fun events going on around town.
You can automate a lot. You really can automate a lot. So Excel's a powerful little beast. We looked at some catering like software, like enterprise software solutions. And I was like, I actually think I could build something that's like exactly tailored to us. I was like, so I don't want this software that isn't going to be exactly tailored to our business. So
it makes sense.
Started building it.
Yeah. Can I pay you an ice cream? No, I'm just kidding. Do you get the opportunity, with as busy as you are, to go? I mean, you did mention Elm last week, to go out and eat yourself.
Sometimes we do. A lot of times, this is such a common chef trope. Is like, we make these crazy things and all of these, very flavorful and rich dishes. And then we want chicken and rice.
Yeah, you go home and eat ramen.
Yeah, but not even ramen. Like, we just want like...
like, that's bougie. Yeah. No, I mean like top ramen. Like, just,
Not even like the effort that's put forth. We do a lot of meal prepping. But because of the things that we make, we try to like really keep the things that we eat at home like pretty on the healthy, low cal, low fat side. So that way we're not just, housing like super rich foods all the time.
No, it makes sense. Well, I mean, because you're tasting as you're going and you're getting all that there.
Correct.
So do you recall kind of what you had at Elm last week?
I had, let's see, what was the appetizer I got? I got an octopus tostada.
Oh, okay.
That was very delicious. I loved the amount of acid that was in it. I like the joke in our kitchen is if I taste it and I say, I love it, but I think it needs a little bit more acid. That's how we know it's good. Because I'm like lemon,
we're like,
vinegar.
all right, it's already perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So if I'm tasting, I'm like, oh, maybe just a little bit more acid. Then it's good. So yeah, the tostada was delicious. I also had an Italian 75, which was very good, rather than a French 75, which I always really like. So it was with limoncello and prosecco. So that was very tasty. And then I had the rack of lamb with a polenta cake for the dinner, and the rub was really good on the lamb. And then again, the lamb was just executed perfectly too. So perfect crust on the outside, but still like mid-rare on the inside. I mean,
everything you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my
exactly.
God.
Yeah.
I knew I should have ate before we recorded this one. I like stopped at home real quick. So we're recording 2 more after this. So we're doing a triple header. Oof. So I went home, grabbed a couple extra shirts, and then but I was like, man, I should eat. Like it'll be a long night, and then I didn't, and now we're talking about even food. When you were talking about it earlier, I was saying it to myself, and now I was like, I just can't keep it in, and I need to eat. Normally I'm a little more prepared.
Oh, nice. The other place too that I will never pass up if I have the opportunity is Peely's Taco Truck.
Oh, God bless Peely.
If they're there and I'm there, like I'm sneaking away to get a taco, or I'm sneaking away to take a taco home.
Well, and her and Armando are just 2 of the sweetest people. I DJ'd their daughter's quinceañera,
nice.
and just like, well, they're almost like family at this point because their first event was Food Truck Friday when we were at the old church parking lot across from the police station, which has been 8-9 years now, and they're just the sweetest people, and they make really damn good food.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's like, we do a lot of events like around the 4th Street area, and we're at the Waldron a lot. I love the Waldron.
Oh, it's such a great space.
Yeah, if we're beautiful too, just gorgeous. So if we're ever doing an event there, I'm like, I'm getting a taco for the drive home.
Perfect, yeah.
Pick me up a little taco, eat it when I get home.
Yeah, you're like, I'm going to be back in 5 minutes. You just run across, run back.
Yep,
like, where'd
exactly.
you go? Don't worry about it.
No, we'll take breaks. I'm like, all right, your turn. You want to go get a taco?
Yeah, taco break.
All right. That's
a good team. We'll do that all the time, working like IU football games or whatever, and be like just tagging in for each other. Like, all right, you go eat now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's everyone operates the same.
What'd you get?
Yeah, it's like, you got what kind of hot dog? If you had one dish, or like one meal that you're like, someone's coming to visit Bloomington and you're like, hey, you need to go here and get this. Do you have one of those?
I don't know if I do. I don't think there's a singular one. A lot of that, it's hard because of the celiac disease.
Right.
So like, it's hard for me to make recommendations when I can't like eat the things and do the things.
Well, then I guess what are some more of your favorites then? Dishes that you enjoy in town from different restaurants.
Oh, again, Peely's. I'm going to go to Peely's.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
gonna get a taco.
Peely's and Elm. Yeah,
that's it. That's where I feel those are my places.
The tried and true. Well, what about like a non-foodie thing? If someone's coming to Bloomington and they're like, okay, here's something you have to do while you're here that's not like food related.
Oh, God. Oh, not food related. Oh man, that's like my whole life.
I know, it's loaded.
I gotta say, all of the concert series that the Bloomington Parks and Rec have been putting on are fantastic. I think they have done a great job with booking. Obviously they book at the Food Truck Fridays for the Switchyard Park. So any of the concerts and the summer concerts that the Bloomington Parks and Rec is putting on are just great. I mean, the parks are beautifully maintained. We did one, what park was it? It was I can't remember. I played a show with a band I've been playing with a little bit recently last summer, and it was great, but I can't remember what park it
Bryan
was.
Park?
Yes, it was Bryan Park. Yep.
I had a feeling it might be. Yeah.
That's where it was, and it was gorgeous.
Oh, yeah. I've gone out there, and it's just like everyone's on the lawn.
Yeah, it was so much fun and kid-friendly. So, so many times it's hard to find live music in a setting where kids can come because it's all bars and 21 plus. So I really appreciate the effort that they've put in to bring bands and live music to spaces that all ages can enjoy. And honestly, spaces that aren't alcohol based,
Right,
like
exactly.
if somebody doesn't want to hang out at a bar for whatever reason, where are they going to see music?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you can still go and be low key about it if you have a cooler and no one's getting hammered or making a fool of themselves. There's a playground right there at Bryan Park and at Switchyard.
Right.
And you can watch the music and keep an eye on your kid.
Right.
And it's just like, it's a very laid back vibe, and you're just kind of on the hill and take a lawn chair or throw down a blanket.
So fun on like a beautiful summer day.
Yeah. Well, so speaking of Jesse being on the taste committee, Crystal Ritter is also, and she's helping me with all the like the main stage booking.
Oh, fine.
And then we've worked together because I'll book all the Food Truck Friday stuff, all the bands outside of their summer concerts.
Right.
And so like we'll collab on that and make sure we're not double booking the same people.
Oh,
and, no, but Crystal's so easy to work with, and she just gets it and just makes it happen. So I'm so glad that you kind of gave her her flowers. Yeah.
Good.
Have you met Crystal before?
I don't think I have.
I'm gonna have to introduce
I don't think
you.
I have.
You guys would get along very well. Yeah, no, she's fantastic.
Anybody who books music I respect that because booking musicians between venues and gigs is not an easy feat.
Yeah. Well, so I've learned over the years of we're on our 11th year of Food Truck Friday. And for anyone that books music, I have it as easy as it is. I say, here's where you set up. We have electricity. You're providing your own sound, your own PA. Like, that's part of the quote.
Right.
And then send me an invoice. You'll get a mail check. And
Right.
Like, I'm not even there.
Fill out your W-9.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yes,
Here you go.
I left off the W-9 part. But yeah, but Will Scott and Jeff Shue have been huge with the Whirlwind Agency, where they've booked a ton for us this year. It was the first year that I kind of outsourced some of it because they're like, hey, we got a ton of people. Do you want to just send us dates and we'll book them? I'm like,
both
okay.
People I know very well.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Yeah. So I definitely want to show them some love.
Booking is no joke. I don't blame you for outsourcing it too. And really, when you're kind of thinking about like booking agencies, a lot of times makes sense because especially in like a smaller region or a smaller town, like you don't want to have like, oh, I booked this act and then they're here and then they're here and then they're here. And then it's like this oversaturation thing, right?
Yeah.
Where like, all right, the same band isn't like all of these things every single weekend. And like, I'm not knocking people for getting the work, but sometimes less is more.
Right.
Because you're going to cut off your draw if you book yourself too much.
Well, we did that. I was looking at who we wanted to have for taste, and there was a couple people that were on my short list to start, but I saw that they were playing the next Saturday at Upland as with one of Jeff's events, and so I'm like, okay, we'll leave them off.
Right.
And then they reach out like, why didn't you reach out? I was like, well, you're playing the next weekend at Upland, and I didn't want to like.
Right.
But I was like, but we'll talk next year, I guess. And I feel the same way.
Yeah, it's hard.
There's tons of great bands to go around.
I know.
Tons of great opportunity. Is there anything we didn't get to cover about Bonafide or just Bloomington that you wanted to share?
No, well, the only thing I think I'd want to share is that, I hear a lot that, nobody wants to work and, you can't hire in a college town. And I just don't think that's true. I have found that patently false.
Yeah.
Treat people right. Treat them like humans, pay them fairly, and the people are there. People are there.
I feel the same way. We have not had, staffing can be troublesome at times. And Brown County is interesting because Nashville, there's not a population center there, but you have the tourists, so you have to pull people from Bloomington and Columbus.
Oh, yeah.
But for the most part, I feel very good about how little turnover we have at the Moose because people just genuinely enjoy working
especially with 2 locations.
Yeah.
Sure
but yeah, I mean, that's such like a almost just like a boomer thing. Not all boomers are the same, but you know what I mean? Where it's just like, it's like, no, they just don't want to work at a shitty job or they don't want to be treated like shit.
Well, they don't want to work for people who don't care.
Right.
I mean, nobody's going to care, more than me. Right. So and more than Josh. So we try, I just, we really want our employees to have a good experience. We just want the whole thing. And our whole thing, catering is crazy, right? But our whole thing is we don't do chaos kitchen, guys. We don't do chaos kitchen. We're not trying to skimp on labor costs. We would rather pay people to twiddle their thumbs before loadout because everything's chill. We would rather pay people to sit for a few minutes before a buffet starts at offsite things, rather than, there's no such thing as a catering SOS. There just isn't. I mean, at the end of the day, I tell, again, my employees, if they listen to this, are going to be like, all right, Sam's the broken record. I'm like, we're not doctors and, we're not EMTs. We're not pilots. Okay. We are in the industry of helping people have celebrations, right? We are the ones who are in the business of helping people celebrate. And that is a fun and joyous act. And yes, we work incredibly hard and we take it incredibly seriously, but don't stress out. It's just food. It's all going to be okay. It's all going to be okay. Worst thing that's going to happen, I got to tell somebody, hey, we made this mistake. I'm going to refund you this. And that's it. So don't get yourself stressed out.
Everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, and everything's going to be fine. And we're going to have a good time doing it. Well, as good as we can.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing just to take in life. Just everything's going to be all right.
Yeah, it's
do
fine.
what you can do and move forward. And then try to learn next time with processes and preparedness to avoid it happening again.
I all the time I quote, there are people that are dying, Kim.
Yeah.
which is a meme, but we're fine, guys. It's food. We're fine. It's just food. We're having fun.
Yeah, right. Well, that's, I've said it a million times. Talking about, I was like, we're doing ice cream.
I know.
It's ice cream. Like, if we're not having fun,
something
what are
is
we doing?
wrong.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's like,
what are we doing?
let's have some fun. It's ice cream.
No.
Well, I can't think of a better way to end it.
Yeah. It's just
listening
food.
to your passion and how much you care about food. If this doesn't make you want to book Bonafide Bites, I don't know what will. But Sam, thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, thanks. It was great chatting. I know we're yapping every time we run into each other at an event, so
Yeah.
it was fun to sit down and do it officially.
Absolutely. I know we've talked to like Edgewood middle schoolers at 7 in the morning before about culinary.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, hey, I love doing these. It's great. Like, it's showing your passion for food with kids. But can we do it a little later?
Yeah.
Like the 7:30 a.m. I don't have the same passion that I might.
That was rough. Especially coming from Brown County.
Oh, God.
Whoa.
Anyway. Well, now I don't feel as bad about my drive.
Here you go. Awesome.
Cheers. Thanks,
Yeah,
Sam.
hey, thanks for having us.
Of course. What another fun episode, huh, gang? Thanks to Visit Bloomington, as always, for being our presenting sponsors. Thanks to Everywhere Science for this cool sign. Nate and team hooked it up. And thanks to you for watching so we can keep doing this. See you next Tuesday morning with another new episode of the No Dishes Podcast. This episode of the No Dishes Podcast was recorded, edited, and produced by Garrett Portinga of Green Hat Media in beautiful downtown Bloomington, Indiana.
No Dishes Media.
No Dishes Media.